Hello, welcome to my video. I took a guitar workshop at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. It was a 5-day workshop. Picked out the guitar shape and the fretboard and the neck. Starting out with the basic components. And here we've done some routing on the body. Gave it some curve around the edges. Later on I'll be doing some scalping to get the shape where you can rest your arm, and so it'll also fit into your torso a little bit better. And that we can see in this picture. I've taken some away for the armrest, and I've taken some away in the backside for the tummy. Here is the fretboard, and we have installed the fret markers. The fret markers are white Delrin rod. The wood is zebra wood, which is very pretty and quite hard. Here's a shot of the neck, which is maple. Here we have the fret markers sanded down, and we did drop a little bit of super glue in them after we had installed them. Here we've glued the fretboard to the neck. Standard wood glue, wrapped it and clamped it. And we're going to make sure we're using a double truss rod from Stu Mac. Make sure the truss rod is not hung up with any glue and slips in and out easily. Done the wiring for the pots. It's a 3-way selector switch, master volume, master tone control. Here we've given the body a couple coats of sanding sealer, and then we've done some clear later on. I decided to I wanted to go with a clear because I believe I have very beautiful wood in the guitar. There's maple, mahogany, walnut, and I believe another shade of maple. So here we removed the clamps. The fretboard has been glued down to the neck. Here we're using a radius sanding block, extruded aluminum with the sandpaper on, 220 grit paper I believe with the correct radius, and we'll be contouring the fretboard by carefully sanding back and forth. So it'll put the contour on the fretboard, and also it'll take down the fret markers. We mark it with chalk to make sure we're making full contact, and just keep on checking and sanding, checking and sanding. You can see the center has not been contoured yet by the way the chalk still exists. So we mark it like this and then sand it, and if the chalk disappears, we know we have a full contact across the fretboard. And went down to someplace with a machine surface, clamped down a piece of scratch 2x4, and now I'm going to sand the edge of the fretboard. I rasped it with a file as close as I dared, and now I'm going to finish sanding it down so that the width of the fretboard matches the neck. I did find out in doing this process that zebra wood is quite hard. It's a lot harder than the maple was, and it took a fair amount of time to sand that down. Putting the frets in. We had our fret wire, ran it through the tool to give it a slight radius, cleaned out our slots with a fretting saw to make sure all the dust and glue and everything was out of there. Carefully tapped in the frets with a soft face hammer, one at a time. Here's a hammer that we used. Cut them off with snips. I cut them off a little bit extra, probably approximately 1/8 to 1/4 inch, and then pounded them into the fretboard. And then we used a press to make sure they were seated down flat, one at a time. And the frets are all in. Then we used a Delrin sanding block with a file inserted to give the correct angle. The Delrin block slides along on the frets, and the file took away the excess material on the side. Here we're installing the fret side markers. Some 1/8 inch plastic Delrin, white plastic Delrin. That way I'll know which end of the guitar is the small end. Here we're going to do some more dressing on the frets. Taped off the fretboard so we don't damage it, and we're going to very carefully dress the frets in case some of the frets are a little bit high. Back to the radius board again. Lightly sand here. And starting to install some of the hardware in the body. The pickups are in, the bridge is in, the volume tone and the selector switch are in. And this is the hardtail bridge through this body type string. So we also installed the ferrules in the backside. And here's my headstock Radiocaster ugly headstock guitars. And you might notice something about the neck. It's actually a left-hand neck on a right-hand guitar. I just did that because I wanted to do something a little bit different. Here the strings are on. We're down to adjusting nut height, bridge height, and intonation. And here is the website for the Facebook for the Hoosier guitar. Hey, thanks for watching. I enjoyed it, and now I have to go and learn how to play, so catch you later.